If you have ever had a thought about your aging parent that made you feel guilty, ashamed, or that you must be a terrible son or daughter, well, you're not alone. Caregiving brings up emotions you never expected, thoughts that you don't even want to admit, not even to yourself. And today I want to talk about 15 things that adult children secretly feel about their parent, but almost never say out loud. If even one of these hits home, then I want you to know it doesn't make you a bad person or a horrible son or daughter. What it makes you is human. Hi there, I'm Sophia. I guide adult children through a new way of aging parent care, one that focuses on the inner shifts, not just all the outer tasks, so that you can show up in parent care with calm and confidence while holding on to what matters most. Caring for or supporting your aging parent isn't just about all the appointments and medication and safety plans. It also includes emotional landmines and identity shifts and old wounds and complex relationships that resurface. And also there's that love, and it's all rolled into one. And because our world is so full of shoulds and what good sons and good daughter expectations are and cultural pressure, your inner world and pressures can start to feel like something that you need to hide. But this is a guilt-free zone here, and we are going to walk through 15 thoughts and feelings that many adult children like you have. Even ones that feel a little too dark or a little too shameful to say out loud. Now, you don't have to relate, and you probably won't relate to all of these, but I promise there's going to be a few that land for you. So we're going to go ahead and start with the more common ones, and we're going to gently work into the deeper, a little more taboo thoughts. You feel resentful of this responsibility. You love your parent, but the constant pressure, it's really heavy, and resenting the weight of it can make you feel guilty. You don't always want to spend more time with them. Not because you don't care, but because you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you just need a break. You wish you wanted to be there with them, came more naturally to you, but it just doesn't. You lose your patience more than you want to admit. Maybe you snap, or you shut down, or you get irritated by their repetitive questions, or them being so slow at tasks, and afterwards you beat yourself up for it. You wish someone else would take over sometimes. A brother or a sister, an agency, or even a miracle, anyone. You might even have a little fantasy of being off duty sometimes, but that brings you guilt. But you're human, you're not a machine. You feel relieved when plans get canceled, a doctor's appointment gets moved, or a task gets delayed, and you breathe for just a minute. And then that guilt hits you because you shouldn't feel relieved, but you know what? Relief is normal. Sometimes you think your parent is a burden, not because they are one, but because that role that you're in is heavier than you ever imagined. You feel embarrassed by your parents' behaviors. Their cognitive decline, their hygiene issues, their mobility challenges, all of it can kind of stir up complicated emotions in you and your identity. You secretly wonder if you love them enough. If you really felt the right kind of love, wouldn't this be easier? But love and caregiving for our parents are two different things. You feel selfish because you want your old life back. That freedom and the spontaneity and the energy and the happiness that you had. This is one of the most common feelings adult children have about their parent. You fear two opposite things at the same time. You fear losing your parent, but at the same time, you also fear that their needs for care and support are going to drag on for years. Both these fears can exist in your heart at the same time, and that might make you feel shameful. Now, take a breath. That was a lot. Just notice what came up for you. There's no judgment. This is your inner experience talking, and it is real. And if you're ready, we're going to go even a little deeper. Now, these next 5 are the ones adult children rarely say out loud, even to their closest friends. These are hidden in the corners of parent care, the thoughts that make you question your own goodness. You sometimes feel angry at your parent for aging or declining. It feels irrational, but you're angry at the unfairness of it all, the role reversal, the way that your life has changed. You might even feel angry at them for not taking better care of themselves. Then you feel guilty for feeling angry at someone who's so vulnerable. But this anger is almost always grief in disguise. You sometimes imagine what life will be like when caregiving is over. It's not because you want your parent gone, but because you are imagining life without the constant worry and without the emotional labor and without the pressure. This thought might scare you, but almost every adult child has this kind of thought during times of overwhelm. You feel relieved when your parent forgets old conflicts or expectations that they had of you. In those moments, you are no longer carrying the weight of your past with them. You're not measured against old standards or old arguments. And that relief can kind of it feels good, but it also feels like betrayal. But it's really just a moment of breathing space for you. You may feel a little ashamed that you aren't grieving their decline the right way. Some days you're practical, and some days you feel numb, and some days you don't feel anything, and other days you're sad. And you think, what's wrong with me? But this kind of grief, it isn't tidy or predictable. You are coping the best way you can. You wonder if you would have lived your life differently if you knew that parent care was going to be like this. Would you live in a different home, a different city, have a different job, or have a different relationship? You start to rethink the big decisions, and then you feel horrible for wondering what life could have been like. But parent care changes everything. It's natural to reflect on the path that you're on. It's okay. If any of these made your heart sink or made you go, ooh, wow, I thought I was the only one, well, I want you to know something. These thoughts, they don't make you unloving. They don't make you selfish, and they don't make you a bad son or daughter or caregiver. They make you overwhelmed, and they make you human, and they show that you are carrying more emotionally than anyone can see. Caregiving compresses years of unresolved emotions and history and obligation and love and fear and grief all into your daily life every day. There is no checklist or resources out there that is ever going to solve the inner experience that you're going through. And that is why so many adult children feel alone in these thoughts. And that's why so many feel like they're failing, even when they're doing absolutely everything that they can. So take a breath with me. You don't have to fight these feelings, and you don't have to push them down inside or pretend that they're not there. You can meet them and feel them with compassion for what you're going through. You're allowed to be tired, and you're allowed to feel both love and frustration at the same time. You're allowed to be human in all of this. You are doing one of the hardest jobs that you never expected to have. And the fact that you're showing up, even with all these messy, complicated emotions, says everything about your heart. If you feel comfortable, I would love for you to comment below and tell me which of these landed for you. And if there's another thought that you have had that you've never wanted to say out loud, I wonder if you would do me a favor and put it in the comments, because your comment might help another adult child feel less alone. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.